Deep in the humid embrace of the Central and South American rainforests, beneath the tangled canopy where sunlight struggles to pierce the emerald gloom, a legend walks on 6 legs. The air here is thick, heavy with the scent of decay and the sweet perfume of blooming orchids. A world of shadows and whispers where silence is a deception, and every rustle could signal the end. Down here, amongst the colossal roots of ancient ceiba trees and the rotting leaf litter that carpets the jungle floor, lives a creature not defined by its size, but by the sheer, terrifying magnitude of its pain. This is the domain of Paraponera clavata, the bullet ant, an insect that commands respect from predators 100 times its size, a creature whose very name evokes the violent impact of a gunshot. Imagine the dawn breaking over the Amazon, the mist clinging to the undergrowth like a spectral shroud. The colony stirs. It is not a sprawling subterranean city like that of the leafcutters, but a fortress nestled at the base of a towering tree, hidden within the buttress roots, a dark mouth leading into a world of strictly ordered chaos. From this entrance they emerge, solitary hunters clad in armor of reddish-black chitin, glistening like polished mahogany in the dappled light. They are giants among their kind, an inch of pure, concentrated aggression, their movements jerky, twitchy, fueled by a relentless drive to secure protein and nectar. Observe a single worker as she navigates the treacherous terrain of a fallen log. She is alone. Unlike other ants that swarm in the thousands, the bullet ant often forages in solitude or small groups, a testament to her individual potency. She scans the environment with large, complex eyes, her antennae twitching, tasting the chemical tapestry of the jungle. The world she moves through is hostile. Every inch of this green hell is a battlefield. But she is not afraid. Why should she be? She carries within her abdomen a weapon of legendary potency, a sting that evolution has honed into a supreme instrument of torture. The indigenous peoples of these forests, the Sateré-Mawé, know this power intimately. They weave these ants into gloves for initiation rites, a trial of endurance where boys become men through a gauntlet of agony. The venom, puneratoxin, is a neurotoxin that attacks the nervous system with immediate, blinding ferocity. It blocks synaptic transmission, causing waves of burning, throbbing pain that can last for 24 hours, oscillating between a fiery sting and a deep, bone-crushing ache, accompanied by trembling, sweating, and nausea. It is a biological masterpiece of defense, ensuring that any creature foolish enough to threaten the colony or the individual remembers the mistake for the rest of its life. Watch now as she encounters a hindrance, a small, bright green katydid perched on a heliconia leaf. Distance closes. The katydid, sensing danger, freezes, relying on camouflage. But the bullet ant is a visual hunter, and she has spotted the anomaly. There is a moment of stillness, a heartbeat in the jungle's rhythm, suspended. Then, action. She lunges. The katydid kicks, a desperate attempt to flee, but the ant's mandibles, serrated and strong, clamp down on a leg. The struggle is violent, a microscopic wrestling match. The ant curls her abdomen forward, the stinger extending like a switchblade. One strike, that is all it takes. The katydid spasms, the neurotoxin flooding its system, paralysis setting in almost instantly. The hunter does not pause to gloat. She readjusts her grip, lifting a burden nearly her own weight, and begins the long trek back to the nest. This is the brutal efficiency of the rainforest. Life feeds on life, and death is merely a transaction of energy. As the day heats up, the activity around the nest intensifies. We can see the division of labor that makes this superorganism function. While the foragers scour the forest floor and the canopy above, sometimes ascending dozens of meters into the trees in search of extra floral nectaries, others remain behind. Inside the nest, the queen presides. She is not a bloated egg-laying machine like the queens of some termite species, immobile and helpless. She is sleek, only slightly larger than her daughters, a matriarch who commands through chemical signals. She wanders the chambers, inspecting the brood, the white, grub-like larvae that represent the colony's future. These helpless young depend entirely on the protein brought back by the hunters. The workers feed them, grooming them obsessively to prevent fungal infections in the humid dark. It is a scene of tender domesticity that belies the violence of their external lives. But the bullet ant is not just a predator, it is also a protector. Ascend with us now, up the rough bark of the host tree, past the lianas and the epiphytes, into the canopy. Here, the bullet ants protect the very trees they inhabit. It is an ancient pact, a symbiosis. They patrol the branches, removing moss, fungi, and herbivorous insects that would strip the tree of its leaves. In return, the tree provides nectar, a sugary fuel for the ants' high-energy lifestyle. See how a worker pauses at a nectary, drinking deep of the sweet liquid. This sugar is not for the larvae, they need meat, but for the adults, the fuel that powers their relentless patrols. Suddenly, a shadow falls. A glassy-winged butterfly attempts to land on a leaf to lay its eggs. The caterpillar offspring would ravage the foliage. The response is immediate. A sentry ant rushes forward, mandibles open, stridulating, making a squeaking sound by rubbing body parts together. It is a warning scream. The butterfly, sensing the aggression, aborts its landing and flutters away. The tree is safe. The pact is upheld. Yet even the bullet ant is not invincible. The jungle has checks and balances for everything. Enter the phorid fly, a tiny, unassuming speck of darkness. It hovers over a marching column of ants, a gnat compared to these titans. But the ants panic. They break formation, ducking, pressing their bodies to the bark, trying to hide their necks. This tiny fly is their grim reaper. If it can land, even for a split second, on the back of an ant's head, it will inject an egg. The larva will hatch, burrow into the ant's head capsule, and consume its brain, eventually decapitating the host. It is a horrific end for such a powerful warrior. We see a worker, isolated, twitching, the unseen parasite already at work within her. She stumbles, disoriented, her legendary strength failing her. She is a victim of a war fought on a scale we barely notice. A reminder that in this ecosystem, there is no such thing as absolute dominance. As afternoon fades into the golden hour, the light softening and the shadows lengthening, the forest prepares for the shift change. The diurnal creatures retreat, and the nocturnal choir begins to tune up. The bullet ants, however, are tireless. Their foraging continues, though the rhythm changes. The night brings new dangers, giant wolf spiders, tree frogs, scorpions. But it also brings opportunities. Many potential prey items emerge under the cover of darkness. The ants navigate by scent trails laid down by their sisters, invisible highways of pheromones that crisscross the three-dimensional maze of the forest. Let us follow a worker returning to the nest as the rain begins to fall. It starts as a whisper, droplets hitting the high canopy, then grows into a roar as the heavens open. The rainforest floor turns into a deluge. The worker struggles, the water tension threatening to trap her, the path becoming a torrent. She perseveres, driven by the instinct to return to the safety of the colony. She reaches the entrance, now guarded by a phalanx of soldiers. They touch antenna, a chemical password exchanged in the dark. She is recognized. She passes into the dry, earthy scent of home, delivering her prize, a small beetle captured near the riverbank. Inside, the colony is a hive of activity. Trophallaxis occurs, the sharing of liquid food mouth to mouth. A forager regurgitates nectar to a nurse ant, who will in turn feed the queen or the larvae. It is a communal stomach, a shared existence where the individual is nothing without the whole. In the deepest chamber, the queen rests. She has lived for years, while her daughters live only for months. She carries the genetic memory of the colony, the unbroken line of survival stretching back millions of years. The rain stops as quickly as it started. The moon rises, filtering through the dripping leaves, casting silver pools of light on the jungle floor. A silence falls, heavy and profound, broken only by the distant call of a howler monkey. The bullet ant worker, her duty done for the moment, finds a quiet corner in the nest and rests. She cleans her antennae, grooming herself with the fastidious care of a cat. Tomorrow she will go out again. She will face the spiders, the flies, the birds, the crushing falling debris, the endless struggle for resources. She will patrol the tree, she will hunt, she will defend. She is a warrior, a nurse, a builder, a guardian. She is a small, fierce spark of life in the vast, indifferent darkness of the Amazon. And if you were to meet her, to cross the line she draws in the dirt, you would learn the lesson that every creature here knows in its bones. That pain is a teacher, and the bullet ant is its most strict and terrible professor. The jungle breathes on, an eternal cycle of birth and death, and the bullet ant marches on, the unspoken queen of the undergrowth, carrying her bullet, ready to fire.